going to start by removing the resources and the outputs from the default template. To add a user pool, I'm going to create a new resource called User Pool. The type will be AWS Cognito User Pool. I'm mostly going to use the default properties for the user pool. I will set the alias attributes to email so that people can log in using their email address as well as their Cognito username. I also need to set the auto-verified attributes to email so that Cognito will send out emails to verify the account. Finally, I'll set the user pool name to Snappy Features. At some point, I'm going to need a user pool client, so I'll create that now. I'm going to give it the name default user pool client with the type AWS Cognito User Pool client. In the properties, I'm going to set the client name to default because this is the only user pool I'm going to create. From past experience, I know I need to set generate secret to false or Amplify won't be able to log in. I also want to set the refresh token validity to 30 so that users only need to log in every 30 days. Finally, I'll set the user pool ID using the CloudFormation ref function with the user pool. I know I'm going to need the user pool ID in other projects, so I'll export that now by adding a user pool ID to the outputs. I'll set the description to the ID for the user pool so that somebody looking at the outputs from the stack can understand what it is for. I'll then set the value using the CloudFormation ref function with the user pool. After saving the project, I can use the npm script that I created earlier called SAM package to package the project and upload it to S3. I can then use the npm script SAM deploy to update the CloudFormation stack. Now our stack has been created. I'm going to go to the AWS console and click on Manage User Pools. We can see our Snappy Features user pool has been created. At the console, I'm going to create a new folder called Client. I'm going to use Create React App to create a new front-end project called Snappy Features. I'll use the TypeScript flag so that it creates the project using TypeScript instead of JavaScript. Once the project has been created, I'll use npm install to add the AWS Amplify and AWS Amplify React packages. Because I'm doing a manual setup, I'm going to copy the configuration from the AWS Amplify documentation. I'll then paste that into my app.tsx file. I'm not using identity pools, so I can remove the identity pool ID from the configuration. The region setting I can get from my Cognito User Pool. The identity pool region I can remove because I'm not using identity pools. The user pool ID I can get from the Cognito console as well. The user pool web client ID I can get by clicking on App Clients and then copying the app client ID for the default client. For the rest of the settings, I'm just going to use defaults. Next, I can import the with authenticator component from the AWS Amplify React library. Finally, I'll change my default export from app to with authenticator app. I can start a development web server by using yarn start. If you're using TypeScript, this is going to show an error because the AWS Amplify React package doesn't include type definitions. To fix this, copy the declare module line, go back to the source folder, create a new file called AWS Amplify React.d.ts and paste that line into it. After saving the changes, I'll go back to the command line and use yarn start to restart the web server. Once the server is started, I'll copy the URL for the web server and paste it into my browser. I'm prompted to sign in, but I don't currently have an account, so I'll click on Create an Account. In the username, I'll enter admin and a password. In the email address, I'll put my Snappy Features email, and in the phone number, I'll enter my phone number. I can then click Create Account. AWS will send me a confirmation code. Once I've entered the code, I can click Confirm. My account is now confirmed, and I can sign in using the username and password I entered previously. We now have Cognito User Pools and a basic React application with Amplify set up. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up a GraphQL API using AppSync. If you like this video, then press subscribe and go to www.goingserverless.com and sign up to the mailing list.